Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Special Teams Sunday. Every week we get together and we have a look at one of the best unofficial teams out there in Blood Bowl. So there's a ton of places you can go and play Blood Bowl with more teams than exist. We've transitioned to Blood Bowl 2020 now, and there's 29 core teams, but in the FUMBBL-verse, where they are still running the BB 2016 rules, there's around about 100 Secret League teams that are definitely worth looking at, and at some point will be ported over to Blood Bowl 2020. Now, so far we've looked at FUMBBL League teams because that's what we're playing on FUMBBL at the moment, but there are a ton of teams out there that we're going to have a look at that aren't FUMBBL, that are homebrews, and yes, some of them may be Age of Sigmar teams, but for today we are looking at a team we've actually looked at before. I think long-time viewers would have seen me play a game against Sam Frenzy Garner, running these guys in a game of sevens that we did in Roll20 right at the start of the Apocalypse. So the Four Nations teams is basically a rugby team on the Blood Bowl pitch. And honestly, that is the best way to describe this team. If you can look at the layout here, you've got 0 to 16 linemen, you've got 1 fullback, up to 2 halfbacks, up to 4 forwards, and up to 2 wings. And everybody on this team has Nerves of Steel and Dump Off. So if you are blitzing or blocking anyone on this team that has the ball, they are going to get a 3+ chance to quick pass it to somebody else nearby. And because they're going to have Nerves of Steel as well, it's going to be a 3+ again. So you've always got a really good chance to knock the ball down the line if you are the Four Nations team. Now, I got to play against Ian Triplow with his team this week using my Nobility team on FUMBBL. And it was a really interesting match. There was one turn where I did quite a good job of penning in his team, but he still managed to get five dump-off passes, and they all succeeded in one turn. And it was just incredible to see. So the shtick of this team is that they all are movement 6, strength 3, edge 3, armor 8+, humans with Nerves of Steel and Dump Off. The different positionals have got different upgrades, and the wings have got movement 7. So your core team all does the same thing, which is when they get punched, they farm the ball off. So you have this role as a coach of trying to develop them to play Blood Bowl as well, but you've got that intrinsic defensive pass game. It's remarkable. Let's have a look at each of the players. So first up, we've got the linemen, and the linemen form the core of this team in every single way, whether it's just from a templating point of view or the fact they fill out the line. They're movement 6, strength 3, edge 3, and armor 8. They are human linemen that for 10k have Dump Off and Nerves of Steel. So Dump Off as a skill is a very strange one. Generally speaking, it's a skill you never actually want to use. You never want your ball carrier to be in blitz range. You never want them to be in block range. So it's a skill that actually you don't want to have, but it is incredibly useful as a defensive skill. But realistically, when you're looking at this team, the most important thing to pick up on is the fact that they've all got Nerves of Steel. Edge 3 Nerves of Steel isn't the best thing in the world, I'll give you that, because 3+ forever is just, anybody who's trying to pick up the ball with an Orc thrower will know that 3+ is not the best thing in the world, but Nerves of Steel here means that any one of these guys is going to be catching that ball, whether it's a handoff into loads of tackle zones or whatever. So if there is a good way to blitz yourself out of a defensive cage, then Nerves is going to be so useful. That means that even the linemen on this team are a threat to be a stretch play. Any one of them, 3+ catches that ball, whether they are being passed to or handed off to or whatever. They are just getting it on a 3+, and normally, because they're actually they're reasonable players at movement 3 and strength 3, they can blitz out of trouble. They can blitz away, and they can just score. So the Four Nation linemen, 60k is a little bit pricey. They don't have great edge, they don't have great movement, but they just have a very unique skill set. Then you've got the fullback. So there's up to 1 on this team, and this is where the positionals kind of get quite interesting. 80k for each one of these positionals. The fullback, same movement, same 6, 3, 3, 8, standard, exactly the same as a lineman. But for 20k extra, they start also with catch and kickoff return. So the role of the fullback is not necessarily to be the quarterback of the team, the thrower. They're going to be your ball carrier. They're going to be the one that receives it, because kickoff return, giving you 5 extra squares, is massive. Okay, that means these guys basically start with movement 9, and because they've got catch, if you can maneuver them underneath the ball, they've got a 75% chance of starting your offensive drive with that ball. That's going to save you a 3+ and potentially a reroll. And general passing access on these guys as well. It means that you can develop them into a passer if you want, but because they do the thing that you kind of want to do, which is receive the ball, block is great because they are likely to have the ball, and sure hands is also going to be really good. So these guys are the ball carriers, if not the passers of the team. But as an alternative, you can have up to 2 halfbacks. Well, you can have them all the same. These guys, again, 80k, dump off nerves and steel, kick, and Hail Mary pass. They've also got general and passing on normal skill ups. That makes them really interesting players to run if you think about it. Okay, one player, so the fullback gets that catch and kickoff return. Okay, they get the positioning to put themselves under the ball and receive it. These guys here, kick and Hail Mary pass, they are there to clear the ball away. So if they're in trouble, Hail Mary pass, hooning it down the pitch, going to give you that benefit. And kick means you're going to be able to position them really well. I really like the halfback. It's one of the only positionals I think that starts with kick out there, even in most of these secret teams and things like that. It's a very rare skill, and you guys know I love kick. I love being able to pin the ball back or keep it close depending on how the situation is. And being able to start with one of those is really good, and having that passing access as well, it can boost you up. Is there a difficult positional to develop? Because Hail Mary pass won't come in very often. Kick is very useful. You're paying 20k. If you just consider 20k extra for a kicker, you're going to get a ton of value from the halfback. Now, being able to take general and passing means you can just go block with them. You can take kickoff return with these guys as well. Catch is going to be a double for you, so they're never going to be able to replace that other positional. But I do like one halfback here to be your kicking player, and you've always got the Hail Mary pass long shot as well. And then you've got up to 4 forwards. Now they're essentially the blitzers of the team. Okay, they've got general and strength access. So as your team develops, they're going to get block, and then they're going to get guard or mighty blow, and they're going to be your brawlers of your team. Same stats as everybody else, 6'3", 80k for this piece. Dump off nerves of steel. They've also got diving tackle and fend, so they are a weird positional. The combat skills here, they don't feel great. Diving tackle is going to aggravate the heck out of your opponent, and at 80k you can normally afford a full lineup of 4 of these. So they've kind of got these weird defensive skills. They feel a bit like a slam blitzer, but with no combat skills, these guys struggle. So racing towards block with these will be brilliant, because these are the players you're going to want to be in contact with an opponent. You go block, then they can actually do some brawling. You've got the strength access, so you can take guard or mighty blow if you need a bit of removal on your team, but also you can put tackle on there, and tackle with diving tackle is horrific to play against. So if you end up with 4 forwards with block, tackle, diving tackle and fend, you're going to have a really strong control game on the ground, and I think that's really interesting. They don't have the punch you'd want them to have at the start. You have to earn it, and I guess that's one takeaway from the entire team, is you have to earn the brawl with this team, because the core is trying to be clever using dump off with some interesting skills, just like here. And then you've got the catchers of the team, the wings. So 0 to 2. You've actually got a bit of a stat boost here. 80k, movement 7, 3, 3, 8. Jump off, nerves of steel, and catch. So at movement 7, nerves of steel and catch, these guys are fast. Strength 3 means that they are going to be able to brawl with most things reasonably well. And that nerves of steel catch combo means it's 3++ to receive the ball. So these guys have got an 8 and a 9 chance to catch the ball however you get it to them. They should be really big scoring threats. And general and agility access means they can get dodge early on and block as well. And they are going to be scoring touchdowns because they are the fastest players. And the way this team is built, you do kind of want to have them on the wings, because you can dump off the ball up and up and up. Up the line, sit it with the wing. If the wing can break away with a decent blitz, 7 squares is an easy touchdown most of the time. But because they've got general agility, block and dodge is such a superb way for these guys to go. There's nothing clever you need to be doing with these guys. They're already movement boosted. Block is going to keep them safe, and dodge is going to keep them even safer, and it's going to give you that cheeky 3++ chance to get out of dodge. And if you're interested in running the Four Nations team, you can just jump onto the Secret League on FUMBBL right now, build a team and take it for a spin. I do recommend it, because it is it's a unique way of playing the game. Now we like that, and we like that about the 2 NAF teams, Khorne with all the frenzy and Slam with all the leaping. It just makes it's just a different way to play. It's something you don't get out of the standard teams. And the Four Nations team here does a really good job of giving you that different angle. My game here is to try and build a flow with the ball down towards one side of the pitch for my wing to break through and score. Wicked. And it's down to me to use my forwards and that fend and diving tackle to just slow. It's a really interesting brawl. this is not going to surprise you. Everybody needs block. Everybody needs block because every one of these players is going to be in combat. So starting roster here. So we've got the one that's listed on FUMBBL. Sam and Ian Tripler have used very similar rosters here, and this is the one that's working. 4 linemen, 4 forwards. You want to build those guys up to get you block and guard to start winning the combat game on the ground. 2 wings, they're just too good. Movement 7 is just too useful, and the ability to develop them into blodging players is just so tasty. Now, 1 half or fullback. This is where Ian and Sam, who are both running this team in our league, we're a bit unsure. So the fullback versus the halfback. So the fullback is the one that gets kickoff, return, and catch, and the halfback is kick and Hail Mary pass. So now they've both got passing access. Doesn't matter. They both need to get block, no matter which way you go with it. I prefer the fullback. I love the idea of having extra speed on the receive. You know, that catch and kickoff return gives you 3 squares and a free opportunity, basically, to catch the ball with a 75% success rate most of the time. That's a massive area of the pitch you've got covered, and a really good opportunity to just start the ball without the chance of a turnover picking up. So I do prefer the the fullback over that. 4 rerolls. This team has no combat skills. No ball handling skills except some catch. So picking up the ball and doing things like, you know, passing, going to cost you rerolls, and so is punching people in the face, because starting lineup with no combat skills at all, this is 11s, this isn't 7s. You are going to have to deploy people on the line of slaughter, and they are going to have to punch other people that have got better skills than them. And even at a 2-die block, you're looking at 55% chance of knocking somebody down. If you've got that reroll in there, it is a much better odds, and you need to start farming casualties and scoring touchdowns with this team, otherwise it will stall, and the other teams in the league will leave you behind. I do recommend it. It is a really good challenge. I've played against them once with my own ability and I got the win, and I've got another game this week at some point, same team. It's going to be 4 nations against my nobility team. Let me know in the comments if you want me to record it, because it's always good fun to see some FUMBBL stuff. And it's not a gimme. Not a gimme at all. My nobility team is doing pretty well. I'm quite happy with it, although I'm 5k off from being able to afford my blimmin' ogre. It's not a gimme. Like, there's a chance I'm going to lose this game. It's playing against Sam Frenzy Garner as well, who we always have very tight games. And I am confident the 4 Nations game can win any game it's playing. The downside of this team is there aren't really any rugby miniatures out there, and because the positions are very similar to each other, even in the FUMBBL ones, they're quite difficult to tell apart. So the only thing I can really suggest if you want to run this on the tabletop is this here. Now this is from The Scientist, this is from Stephen Knowles, our friend of the podcast, definitely. So what Stephen's done is use Hero Forge to brew up miniatures for a load of special teams. I need to do a feature on that when I get 5 minutes, because they are really cool. And as you can see here, what he's trying to do is build up players to match the types here. So you've got, you know, the thing is with these positionals, it's difficult. So we've got the catch, probably fullback on the top left. You've got the one reaching out with the tackle. That's probably going to be your forwards. You've got the kicker at the top there. Interesting. I love these. You've got linemen. This is a clever way to build a team. And if you are in any way STL savvy, 5 guys. How much are their STL files now? $6. So you can build 5 different positionals for about $30. Use the mirror thing to brew up and print off a ton of them, and you end up with a team. And I like this option because I have yet to find rugby miniatures for this team. And I think if we did, we'd see the team run regularly in leagues that allow sort of FUMBBL teams, because it's a really cool way to play. And let's face it, rugby's a pretty great game. So being able to facilitate that rugby versus American football on the pitch with trolls, it's just wicked. Come on, it's what we've all been dreaming of for years. Anyway guys, let me know what you think of this team in the comments, because I think it's really good fun. I'm nervous about my game, and do let me know if you want me to pop that game up when I play it, because I think I'm not feeling massively confident. I'm thinking like 55-45 is going to be a victory, which is okay. I'm alright with that. Anyway, I'm going to disappear. Thanks ever so much for watching, and we'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the show even further, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Or come and join us in our Patreon, link below, where you get early access to our content and monthly competitions. See you later.